So, hosting a foreign exchange student. Let's just say it's like adopting a pet, but with a lot more paperwork and fewer belly rubs. You think you're getting a cute little puppy, but instead, you end up with a full-grown kangaroo that doesn't speak your language and insists on hopping around your living room at 2 a.m. We were so excited when we found out we would be hosting a student from Germany. I imagined all the wonderful things we'd do together. Cultural exchanges, cooking traditional meals, and bonding over our shared love for awkward family dinners. What I didn't anticipate was that our exchange student, let's call him Hans, would come equipped with a suitcase full of quirks and a penchant for mischief that could rival a toddler on a sugar high. The first night I tried to make a nice welcome dinner. I thought, let's impress him with some classic American cuisine. So I whipped up a feast of hamburgers and fries. I mean, who doesn't love a good burger? But Hans took one look at my culinary masterpiece and said, "In Germany, we have a saying, a hamburger is not a real meal." I was taken aback. I thought, what do you mean? Are you going to pull out a schnitzel right now and start a food fight? As it turns out, Hans had a very different idea of what constitutes a meal. The next day, he decided to introduce me to the wonders of German cuisine. I was excited until I realized that his idea of cooking involved a lot of pickled things. I mean, I love a good pickle, but when your entire meal is just various forms of pickled vegetables, you start to question your life choices. I sat there, staring at a plate of pickled herring, thinking, I never thought I'd be negotiating with a fish for my dinner. Then there was the language barrier. Oh, the language barrier. Hans spoke English well enough, but there were moments when I felt like I needed a translator just to understand his jokes. One night, he told me a joke about a snail. I thought it was going to be a cute little pun, but it turned into a long, drawn-out story about a snail that wanted to ride a turtle. By the time he got to the punchline, I had forgotten what the joke was even about. I just sat there, nodding along, hoping my face didn't betray my confusion. School was another adventure. I remember the first day he went to high school here. I thought it would be a great bonding experience to drive him. As we pulled into the parking lot, he looked at me with wide eyes and said, "Where are all the bicycles?" I laughed, thinking he was joking. But no, he was serious. Apparently, in Germany, students ride their bikes to school like it's an Olympic sport. Meanwhile, here in America, we drive our SUVs like we're training for the next NASCAR event. After a week, Hans had made friends, and I was thrilled. I thought, finally he'll have someone to talk to, and I can stop pretending to understand his snail jokes. But then he started bringing them over. Suddenly, our living room became a hangout for a group of teenagers who seemed to communicate in a language of memes and TikTok dances. I felt like I was hosting a foreign exchange student and his entire entourage. But despite the chaos, I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. Sure, there were moments where I questioned my sanity, like when Hans tried to teach me the German version of "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star," which sounded more like a battle cry. Yet, through the laughter and the confusion, we became a family. I learned that hosting a foreign exchange student is less about the cultural exchange and more about the unexpected friendships that come from sharing a home, a few pickles, and a whole lot of laughter.